Down there should be a public health precautionary assigned to all discussion, guesswork, forecasting and evaluations creature done order now on the against establishment by the government creature put along in Rome. Affirmative. The Israeli lot portion of the Narodnik nationalist wavelength how has been swept through Europe of Austria to Hungary, France and the UK, but at the identical period you very include to type the AMD via a couple of Italian opera spectacles to get a superior feeling of which's departure on. We must recall, is Italy. A nation named for top AMD. A nationality how flirted in contemporary day narodism front of the US and the otherwise of Europe, in the at first Berlusconi by the government behind in 1994. The is as well a nation how endangered to, yet eventually did give the Eurozone breaking downward up, in 2011 for the Europe obligation meltdown. As well essential to mention is how Italy's policy framework was reworked following its Nazi dictator and Planet War II to escape any one political figure or side receive two lot force always once again. So though if the wedding of the League and the five celebrity motion does get away, and if they supervise to include the really big ideologic differences how already exist among them, or how's a big win, received drama reforms gone quickly via the Italian parliament will be an heavy fight for them. So should Europe halt anxious, sit behind and just watch the newest Italian AMD evolve? In reality, in spite the caveats I've listed over, which five celebrity and the League are offering would tremble Italian and Europe policy to the mandrel. Brussels is spooked. As are the finance markets and investors. They don't love unpredictable. They don't love guideline break. But how's precisely which Italy's by the government in waiting has pledged voters, to rotate the statute quo on its chief. They've proclaimed a human beings' republic and Italians at first, is one of their slogans. Their communication, the interests of common Italians, not of the wealthy or so associated or of this bureaucrats in Brussels should now be prioritized. A tempting suggestion to corrupt practices and economic downturn-weary Italians. Italy utilized to be a extremely EU enthusiastic nationality. Italians examined the clubhouse as a protect versus their frequently pervert or incompetent domestic governments. They believed the euro would give sustainability compared to the boomers and bosom cycles related in their domestic exchange, the lira. But currently Italy is one of the largest Eurosceptic countries in the EU. Migrating is one cause. The economics is else. Europe's migrating meltdown has cleaned hundreds of thousands of uneven migrants onto Italian shores. Largest go to Europe in a schedule to chief to richer northern countries love Germany or Sweden, but they get jammed in Italy due to EU regulation declaration how they include to remain and be machined in the nation wherever they are at first thumbprinted. Italians sense they, near Greece, include been leftward one to arm a meltdown how is in reality a broad Europe question. That is why let greet the League's hard link on migrating. Italians are as well bitter offended on the Europe. They trust the exchange's rules and regulation favor Germany, not Italy. They smolder resentfully above Germany's present expense excess and low joblessness bet time Italy is mutilated by poor increase, a congestive labor marketplace and large domestic obligation. Obviously not all of Italy's finance turmoil can be laid down at Brussels' doorway. Italy's ex-center-left by the government offered structure reforms to gear a quantity of issues, but five celebrity and the League wish to expend their way out of the fall, representing a plain tax framework, a main revenue for the impoverished, and reverse retirement reforms. The will break EU budget regulation and put Italy on a clash year in Brussels. And which happens in Italy matters. The is not Greece we're speaking on. Italy is the tertiary largest economics in the Eurozone. And though both of five celebrity and the League include supported off of over-promises to conduct a plebiscite on withdrawing Italy of the solitary exchange, they could put the suggestion behind on the spreadsheet at any period. The risk of how plebiscite would hover in the air as length as they remained in by the government. A way putting for investors. Destabilizing for the entire Eurozone. And the EU as a entire. Disappointed although they are in Brussels, down there is no appetite suppressant among Italians for an Ital exit, wherever they would go out the EU for nice. But possessing such a Eurosceptic, or as well Moscow sympathizing, by the government in the cardiac of Europe, Italy is one of the EU's basis members, don't overlook, would be an enormous strike to the draft of always closer association championed by France CEO Emmanuel Macron, for example. Worried on the harm a five-celebrity league by the government could cause on Italy and the EU, Italy's CEO stalled for several period upgiver Giuseppe Conte the come-ahead to shape by the government. CEO Mattarella knows he must trample thoroughly. The most of Italians say they wish to offer by the government a opportunity. So, such in Brussels and for should believe 2 times up willing for new elections. If Italians sense this institution is hard to silence their noisy urge for changing, their potential to voice for such who say they present the vote of common human beings, the populists, in though greater numbers.